Okay, so this is the Great Global Healing Party, and I'm Dr. Wendy Rowley. And this is our 16th free healing of this event, which began January of 2024. And how we are here is because Aliania of Cosmic Service asked us to do this because she said it would help us to fast track through healing the human consciousness grid. And that's about to become very powerful and quantumly entangled in the beginning of January 2027. So she says we're going to enter a 40-year period where we can do really good fast track healing. Okay, so it's a good thing to know if you're listening to the sound healings of the Great Global Healing Party playlists. If you go to the very first one and you don't want to hear all the talking, you just want to hear the sound healing, if you go through these videos and you listen to all the sound healings up until we're told we are done, you can clear your higher self, individual to group interface between that level up to the golden akashas on the human consciousness grid. And why is that? Because we are evolving into a beautiful paradigm that will unfold for millions of years, wherein there's a new dimension, a new frequency, and a new little sliver, which Aliania says is coming between 12 and 12:30 midnight in a time frame of our 24-hour galactic energy spirit bodies. And quantumly, someone else can ask her about time around the globe on that one. And so we are all bringing that, having this divine intelligence of the Creator is bringing the Christ healing force into the death bardo. And boy, is that needed. If any of you have been there, anyone near the end of life, it's a very intense energy period. So the golden akashas are our benevolent good works, our healing and intentions, and our benevolent wisdom of our earthly records. And it's where we store our healing energy when we do good works. And that healing energy is used in healing of our own selves. And for a group event like this, we are using gold energy from those in our past, maybe including us back then, that did good works for the greater good of all in alignment with this kind of energetic. And they created group Golden Akash. We're using theirs, and we're creating Golden Akash with these events, the Golden Akash energy that will be used for healing in the future. It's the ultimate pay-it-forward system. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening tonight. This interface now, Alenia says this Christ energy is coming down from the noosphere, and she says this year it's all the way through it went through the white gold healing layer, which is more consciousness, and now it's at this layer called the blue-green healing layer, and that's just sort of pre-physical. And that's where that energy is going to, in that dimension are. She said it's in that area. So this healing will be a healing between the noosphere and the interface of the blue-green healing layer. So I tell some pretty far out anatomy and say some things for advanced healers that are here, and then I try to give explanations of energy anatomy to help us realize we're magnificent. And for those healers and shamans who are a lot of the people that go to this kind of work, because they're really fascinated with all of that. And that's, as a naturopathic doctor and an energy healer, I am fascinated with it too. That's my niche. Okay, so there is a special and new portal and dimension for this Christ healing force and evolutionary force to move within that is getting turned on tonight, apparently. So we're having an upgrade of the galactic portals to the new cosmic portals and the going off of 3 old portal combinations. Portal combinations, and I have to read this because, and I write it ahead, so please forgive me. Because I want to get it right for you all. Portal combinations are actually called quantum entanglement portals. Portals have a beginning and an end, and some portals meet up at quantum entanglement portals where other portals merge into them. The 4th thing that we will do is there'll be an upgrade to receive the higher intuitive Christ information down into the blue-green healing layer. The 5th thing is there will be an upgrade over to the golden akashas for those who are present at this event, for this is something that has to be done live. Certain things can be done listening to a recording, and certain things have to be done live. The sixth thing is there is a gift that will be a feeling of upliftment with these connections. That's the joy and peace of healing, and we give thanks for that. And the seventh gift will be a feeling that everything is really changing, coming through those golden akashas that we get connected to, because everything is all right, and these are benevolent energetic paradigms. So that'll give a nice feeling. So I want to talk a little bit about the membrane, because Aliania she gives channelings before that are on the Great Global Healing Party website, and she's been talking a lot about the membrane. So my early understanding of the anatomy, and your central column has this interdimensional DNA, and it's just amazing. It's connected to soul and all sorts of stuff. And along this interdimensional DNA is a membrane, and then there's another part called the activating principle. And the activating principle only works by the divine intelligence of the Creator. In other words, all healing is in alignment with divine intelligence of the Creator and soul. And the divine intelligence comes in with those codes that this healing can happen and must have tell why, and then that gives the codes to the membrane to switch and open, and then the healing forces come in and do their work. So that was my understanding of what the membrane is. So in our 24-hour day, in our annual cycle, we're now learning that there are 8 portals that we move through. And there are combinations of these portals needed to go through various aspects of exits. In other words, to go from one place to another. These things are determined, believe it or not, Aliania says, by the twisting of our solar system. That's why there's such a huge relationship between the macro and the micro. We know that our interdimensional DNA in the central column twists and untwists. It's straight at the solstices, and it twists at the equinoxes. And we know that it does that through our 24-hour circadian rhythm in our daily day. So there's an annual cycle, and within us is this little 24-hour cycle. It's fascinating. So there is an exit. Let's talk about some of these combo portals, or these quantum entanglement portals. This is fascinating. There's an exit when you sleep at night that you go through to soul. There's a portal that you go through in meditation to different states of consciousness. There's a portal that you go through at the end of an incarnation before your next incarnation. And there's a portal that takes you to the inner earth to work with your soul group. I think maybe we do that at night. And the final portal is an exit portal, but to the outer earth and leaving the planet. And I've had the experience twice where I have seen soul groups leaving the planet from a particular area. Once on the west coast of the United States in Portland, Oregon, at a Jushi shamanic training there, out in the woods, and at Machu Picchu, surprisingly, when that first got activated. So anyway, a little side there. Oh, sorry. So in the work prior, we mentioned that, now I want to try to paint this picture and bring it together. So we know we have benevolence, and we've talked about the birth bardo is where this benevolent energy comes in and healing can come through. And we have mentioned the death bardo, and the birth bardo and the death bardo are 3-day windows at our level, but they're shorter on the other side of the veil. And we have been told that there are 17 dimensions in the death bardo. But now I'm starting to get the idea, and we're going to start to get the idea, what if benevolence is healing and the death bardo is actually evolution? Maybe death is not what we think at all, and that there are other things associated with its purpose. So Aliania says that in the death bardo, there's 17 dimensions, 13 levels of consciousness, 17 levels of the body, 24 levels of the spirit, and 24 levels of the soul, and all communion with other consciousnesses, including the creators, come through here. The birth bardo is the benevolent golden Akash and the Christ healing. And I have noticed this, but didn't really register it. There is no communication there. only feeling and benevolent feeling energies. I'm sorry, only healing and benevolent feeling energies. So it's almost like saying the birth bardo is our astral feeling energy body. And the death bardo, she says, has our consciousness, the spirit body, and what she calls the sensing apparatus. Some people call that your genetic entity. It's your 5 physical senses, your 5 spiritual senses, and when you merge onto the group level at soul and higher self, it becomes the pineal communication and pineal creation system, and again has senses in it. And these senses go from your dense physical body all the way to the soul. It's a fascinating thing. And so that death bardo has the sensing, the spirit body, and the consciousness. So Alania was saying the death bardo is simply the etheric. And she said in the death bardo, we are connected to the higher self, to the group higher self, to the soul groups through there, and we feel our unhealed energy through there. So another thing that I just never really figured it out, she says the Christ flow is vertical. Now that's fascinating because in training for spiritual energy work, one of the first things you're taught is how to get into vertical alignment, how to ground, how to align to the cosmic, how to get into the heart and attune to the Creator, and how to begin to work with spiritual energy in the form of light, sound, and color, or with a consciousness, or with guides, or there's many ways of healing, many healing forces, la la la. So Alini is saying the Christ flow is vertical, and she said the death bardo is the horizontal flow, and she says the higher self crisscrosses between the two. So what if in evolution, eventually the death bardo is used by the soul as an evolutionary change engine? Much like the higher creational beings and the angelics work the soul group's planetary evolutionary change engine called the music of the spheres twice a year. And Aliene brought this information out at the Lion's Gate and in early December. We are used out in the greater field where we first plug into the planet and we're near perfected souls. We're used as engines of planetary change. And so what if humans eventually evolve to have this at the individual level for self-healing? And she says this is one of the great changes that happens at the great shift, this setup for the future. And I have always deeply believed within the core of my being that we were designed to be self-healing beings. So I just was very happy to hear that one. Okay, so let's get on with this event. That's what I have to say. Kind of far out, but weaving a picture, giving us how we're in the middle of all these energies, and there's this benevolence here, and we are just divinely connected. So like June, we have introduced something new here. We are doing a Q&A, and back with us today, we also have some of other gals that were with us in June, and we have another new gal because one of the gals couldn't make it. So I'd like to introduce Tatiana and Candace and Alia, and they're going to ask questions, and I'm going to get out of the way and let Aliania be the answer board. And my understanding is this healing part of this night is going to be a healing, a channeling from her, a healing, and a channeling. So I will be out of the way for quite a while. And this event also is going to be ended this night by Tatiana, or anyone else who wants to jump in there, because I'm going to be a little bit unavailable. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So I'm going to get out of the way, and here we go. Oh, good day to you, dearest beings of light. This is Aliania of Cosmic Service, Pleiadian Mother of Sound. So why, when this one tries to tune, does her head start to go back a little bit? And that's those Kundalini forces that want to come up and rise up the central column because her energy is flowing so highly. But the head going back also happens in the ancient Lemurian epoch when you were vertical. And some of the healing, if you notice in the Great Global Healing Party, the very beginning, her head went back all the time. And as we moved through the old Lemurian things that were being upgraded, her head is now more upright. And we thought some of you might find that interesting because some people have observed that. All right. So, who would like to start? And we are ready for questions.
I'll start.
Oh, great. Hello, Candace.
Hi. So, on that note about the grounding, the spiritual community often does instruct us to ground into the earth. But the earth, as a consciousness that's sovereign, is also cleansing and clearing too. So, would it be more effective to ground into our root chakra or create a grounding bubble around us? Or is this something that we should look within our own self and trust our own inner guidance?
Ooh, I like that question. This one's in the background going, ooh, good question. All right. So this one was, we'll share her training, and then we'll share our perspective from the other side of the veil. This one was taught that you ground deep into the earth, and that for men it's at the base of the spine, and that for women it's a little more forward, if we may be so bold to say, between their personal female part and the part where things expel. It's more in between those parts, if we would be so indelicate as to put it that way. So women's grounding is a little more forward than men's. And she was taught to ground into the earth. She gives Mother Earth a hello, but she stays in the center of her head working on her picture. The earth will send up a hello. It comes into the feet chakras, rolls forward in the feet, goes into the heels, goes up the legs, and the very first part swirls down and goes back down that grounding cord, just like an electric socket that you plug your appliances into has a little grounding cord on the side. She was taught to make a little grounding cord just for the earth, flowing like that. And then she was taught to bring the earth up and run it up channels forward of the spine and into the arms, and then up, and it fountains down, and it goes into the feet, and it goes up the central column, and it comes down and fountains around, then it goes back down the grounding cord. And that's how she was taught. And that's called running your earth energy. And you can run your cosmic energy, and you can run your earth and cosmic energy mix. So that's one way of looking at it, and that's the healer's perspective of running energy. So now let's go to our version. We see grounding as a practice. That's a very good thing, because you can become ungrounded, as this one was taught. If you're thirsty, hungry, you get shocked, you're having a really bad day, you go really negative, you haven't had food in a while. There's many, many reasons why you can become ungrounded. And so grounding is a practice, because you are basically spirits and you're here on the earth. And in this body, you are having to remember to plug into this earth system through the electromagnetic grid with the grounding. Because cosmic energy is not electromagnetic. It's different. So in order to feel connected to the earth, grounding helps you to do that, because there is a flow that comes up. So we suggest grounding as an everyday practice to stay connected into the earth energy, which is part of your spirit body's energy flows. And believe it or not, the grounding of the earth in alignment with that cosmic energy that is always flowing, you are never disconnected from your source or your soul, believe it or not. And that's the cosmic energy. And the cosmic energy works better with earth grounding, holding it vertical, because what did she just say comes in through the vertical alignment through the birth bardo, the Christ healing spirit body. So it's a very good thing to have that energy connected, even if you're not doing healing work. So that's one perspective. Now we're going to get to your questions, and then we're going to weave around that. So you had asked, should we just do a grounding into pure Mother Earth consciousness and the healing forces? And believe it or not, we're going to give something really interesting. You can ground into 3 different consciousnesses of Mother Earth now where you are in your evolution. You can ground down to the electromagnetic forces of stability to get your energy flowing. You can ground down to the earth for your ancient Akashic records of your soul's history. And you can actually ground down to the earth to connect to portals, believe it or not. So your question was actually very timely, Candace, because if you're just going to ground into the earth for electromagnetic alignment, well, then that's all you need to do. But your idea or your concept of the idea of bringing that earth grounding through your auric field is very, very, very interesting, because that is actually what happens when you do the grounding for healing. It starts a flow through your auric field. So that's sort of a one and the same. And then, sorry, this one's thinking she has to remember. Sometimes she gets a little like that, get out of the way. So this third thing we would like to say is that the grounding for the ability to have protection, because we believe you might have said that. And we don't mean to be controversial, and we do not mean to create problems with other people's information. But from our perspective, there is no need for protection. You are divine. You have the ability to prevent anything from entering your energy field that you don't want in there, meaning a non-human. And we're just saying that for those that need to hear that. They can't get in. All the fear about a being or an astral being attacking you, a lot of that's galactic bleeds, we call them. They come from your other sojourns and other systems where you were in a different type of dimensional reality. And you have those records, and they are very, very active now with the grid changes going on. So this one did a deep dive into the Akash, trying to figure it out, because she had heard that concept about protection, and that if you ask for protection, it's like you're creating a bubble that only lets certain things in, because you're not willing to go to divine intelligence and say, what do I need to know? Show me, or teach me, or heal me, or however you want to see or say it. So another idea that she found in the Akash, which we're going to elaborate on, is that you can ask the Creator through divine intelligence and grace, or whatever words that work for you, to send space holders of divine intent for the intention of what your meditation or your healing is about for that day, giving the higher intention of what you wish to achieve, have, or heal. I wish to have space holders and divine intent for this great global healing party, that we may heal what's in these portals that are quantumly entangled, and we may upgrade to the new portals in divine intelligence and grace for the greater good of all. You go for what you want and let go of what isn't working. We sound lectury. We don't mean to be. So we're going to give another perspective. What if that first chakra, that is your grounding cord, is becoming slightly quantumly entangled into a multidimensional state? Because it is, and it's already there. And a lot of you shaman people see that. It's got a different energy field around it. And that's because of the Christ coming into the death bardo. Because death is a physical event all the way to the soul. And as we said, it's coming down to the blue-green healing layer. So another idea of space holders of divine intent is to ask for space holders of divine intent through all your portals to hold the space. And this one has actually gone to certain places that we've taken her to get information, and there's a being that stopped her, and she had to have, what we gave her was a word of power, so that being would step aside and she could access those higher records. So you can't actually go anywhere without the right combo of energies, or the solar system twisting, or the divine intelligence deciding you can go there. So you really don't have anything to fear. It's a beautiful, benevolent system where there's checks and balances, and those only corruptions that people have that they feel are when you were Lemurian and you went sideways because you were in a different kind of non-collagenous body, and people talk about this, the early Lemurian body, and as you became upright and developed the harder spine, everything outside of you went within you. So you have a whole world of the outer world within you that will then eventually Mobius flip back out of you. And Rudolf Steiner talks a lot about this, and this is true. So a lot of those fears are because that galactic memory was in your records, in your aura, and got Mobius flipped to the inside of your being. So you're more aware of them in this part of your history. But Rudolf Steiner called it the Jupiter expansion. Eventually, that will go back out. And you won't have that in you anymore. And that's a really nice energy feeling. Okay. So that's what we have to say. Do you have any follow-up questions based on that? Candace?
So the last piece of that was, can we go within and just trust our own inner guidance then on how what we're doing when we're like what our intention is?
That's right. It's all based on your intention and your heart-focused alignment and the greater good of all, because it's group energy when you get to there. Your heart feels group energy. It's all in intention. It's all in intention. Good questions.
Thank you.
Anyone jumping forward?
My question is, a lot of oil refineries and processing facilities are being destroyed at this time. It seems like the old ways of getting the energy are going away. Is humanity going to discover new ways of getting energy soon?
Bingo, 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 bingo. This one did not know about what you just said. She's trying to stay out of the newspaper a little bit because it's having an effect on her, going down a little bit. So she didn't know that. And well, we're going to go to our side of the veil on that one, because the Great Global Healing Party is a paradigm of what's already happening, but it's a fast track way of sort of moving it along. And it's opening up portals so other people can do the same thing. And then it's opening up a final portal this December that'll allow fast track healing in a very profound way for the grids. So the stuff going on the outer world is partly being reacted to the energies that are coming down, driving up light drives up stuff to the surface. Part of it is fear, and part of it is a tearing down. And we have said long ago, there's some that are going to rise up and ask the Creator for peace on earth, and there's some that are going to act out and revolt and act out sideways. And we need a certain amount of people to go to the Creator and say, please may we have the peace to create a balance in the noosphere. And we can tell you there's so many people doing that it is far exceeding those that are putting out the darker energies. It's like this now. It's just keeps going. And so the humans are doing their thing. But one of the things that comes out of this fast track healing is the time capsules will begin releasing their information. So we're not the ones who brought this information in. Lee Carroll of Cryon did, and it was timely, and it is our information, if we may be so bold to say, and we brought it here, and that's why we know who we are. That's why you can sojourn at night or go do a meditation and sojourn to another dimension or do astral travel or whatever, and you are in another dimension, but you know who you are because your astral records are with you. Your information is with you. Being on the other side of the veil without a body, or the quantum entanglement of their own information within a grid system, doesn't know who they are, and that's why they like to come into a human. So there's reasons for some of these things. We don't mean to go off on a tangent, but so the time capsules are our information of our inventions and our solutions. And we've got the time capsules from another enlightened planet ahead of us, and it's the way the system works. So these get released when the divine intelligence of the creative source out in the greater field releases them. And a lot of it depends on where you all are in your consciousness, your asking, and your healing journey. Because if you have an old Akash filled with a lot of old information, jamming up the log jam of information and energy flowing through it, and you're healing that out, and those fibers are being upgraded and brought to a new level, and energy starting to flow through the grid system again, it creates this, as Cryon says, this push-pull on these nodes and nulls and la, 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 la. And the divine intelligence of the creator decides when that is going to be released. And that is not a solar system twisting event. That is actually a planetary divine intelligence event at your planet. So there are going to be, and there have to be, more renewable sources of energy. And we have talked a lot about that. There's actually her first time capsule channeling is on YouTube. And some of it has been said by some other people, and some of it is very vague. And it's for about 13 scientists. Some of them are working, two or three of them are working on similar projects. So it's got like 14 things in there, but we said it was for 13 scientists. And they're all working on inventions that are slightly, just maybe 2 or 3 degrees away from one of our inventions. So you already are percolating. You already are percolating. And so we can't come out and tell you what those things will be, those technologies. We do know, but that is inappropriate in this system. And I think you understand that, Tatiana. Did you get your answer in the way that you got satisfied?
Yes. So, as I understand, our scientists are already close to these inventions.
Yes, yes. We'll give an example. There's a man who's inventing some sort of a car that will be able to run on some sort of garbage refined fuel, believe it or not. And it's not a long-term car that will be within your cultures for a long, long time, but it's a bridge car. And it'll serve a purpose when things are needed until you get to that technology that really will work for the masses. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see things that'll come up and work for a while, and then they'll disappear. And they're kind of like bridge inventions. Mm-hmm. And you have some, we had to even, well, we're going to be so bold as to say we even had to put out one to the Department of Defense. You guys have got something. And if you put that out now, that's going to go in a very bad way. And you need to hold that back for about another decade, and then you will find the solution for the catch safe so that can't happen to that. So we suggest that you might want to consider really holding back that Department of Defense thing that you have just figured out. Thank you very much for that. And we can give hints like that when a human is actually asking for the wisdom. And so that's how that actually came forward. Because when you build something that can have such a profound effect, you really do have to ask some profound questions like, should we do this? And that's all we're going to say about that. Okay, so yes, things are percolating, and things are percolating.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I have a question. Some of us no longer feel drawn to any teacher, book, or podcast on the spiritual path. Instead, we feel a powerful calling to connect through our heart directly to nature. Is this a shift? And what is asking of us if it's shift, something shifted?
My dear one, you are feeling the Christ coming into the blue-green healing layer as many, 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 many sensitives and women and other people are, and even flatlanders, if we may use that term. Nothing disrespectful, just people who are in a particular lifetime where they're not meditating, they're not pursuing the God path, they don't necessarily tune to the Creator. Even they can sense something is going on. Nature just seems a little more vibrant. So it's hitting people in all sorts of ways. And we would say that could be very well an effect to that. The call away from other people's information, this one's had it very strongly for the last couple of years, and she's disconnected from everything. And she's like, I'm disconnecting from everything right at a time where I'm supposed to bring your thing onto YouTube. And everyone's disconnecting from the thing, from these channelings and these energies and these healings. But the paradigm is shifting, Alia. What you're going to start to see is events of celebration and music and healing. And we have said that to this one for a long time, and she's starting to get a sense of it. And they're going to be like festivals. And people have done a little bit of this, but not to the scale and we're not talking about Coachellas or anything like that. We're talking about profound quantum entanglement, soul, divine intelligence, healing events. because those are still coming forward. And so there will be, what's going on is you're having an Akashic shift because you're going off the old Akash up to the golden Akashas, so that when the Christ is in the death bardo at the end of your life, you no longer feel all your unhealed karma. You get to see your unhealed stuff in the timeline still, but you don't, when you get to the end, you don't have just all that feeling of the unhealed stuff. The golden Akashas are going to flood in. There will be a presence there, and you're going to have this feeling that you know what the answer is that you need to do to heal that thing that you had in this lifetime in your next incarnation. So there's a feeling in people that the energy paradigm is shifting, and the way they're going to get their information is shifting. So there's an intuitive factor going on within people that is causing these feelings. And it's going to, this feeling will be gone by the end of December 2026. 2027, we have been saying, is a whole new energy. And it's going to be very different. And it's going to be so different that people are going to be talking about it all over the web. And that's a profound thing to say, and a very difficult thing to say ahead, but we're going to say that anyway, that it is a profound shift. It felt especially by those who are meditators and healers and shamans and doing the work, and who are on the path and trying to find that higher vibration and rise up to that new portal, that new Christ portal in the death bardo, where that new grace and healing will be coming through. Did you hear that statement? We earlier, and she earlier, said the Christ healing force comes in through the birth bardo. And we just said the Christ healing force is now coming through the death bardo. And there's evolution. And that's what we have to say about that. Have any other question that came through, Alia?
No, the great explanation. I can feel it. Thank you.
Great. How's your second round of questions? We have any?
Yeah. So the collective energy kind of feels like it's just looping around and around on multiple different levels, and it's creating fear and hopelessness. And it seems like if we just remembered who we really are, we could step outside of that looping. So could you remind us like who we really are, and how can we anchor in that memory?
You are going to set the intention this night in this healing for who you really are. And we're going to ask you to do that, Candace. And we're going to ask you to ask your soul to give you that validation, because that's how you get it. You cannot have a spiritual experience. You have a spiritual experience. Let me just put that in a bit more positive light. You have spiritual experiences in two ways. One, your soul is giving it to you. And two, you're asking your soul for it. Prayer and meditation. This one was taught by Edgar Cayce. Prayer is talking to God. Meditation is learning to listen, and that's still silence. And so that concept of that, oh, she got in there and she's going, I lost your train of thought, Allie. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Let's give her a second. There she goes. Okay, so that, we're still not there. Repeat, just give us a little word, somebody just, and we'll go right back. She's learning to stay in channel and energy work a lot longer now, as you notice. We'll give her some credit for
So just reminding us, how do we
Divinity.
anchor in?
Thank you. We needed the frequency of your voice, and we got back to that. Thank you. Yes, so you can ask your soul for spiritual validation. I need validation of my spiritual nature this day, or when I can, or please give me validation. I need it at the physical level, or from the physical to the spiritual, all the way to my soul. May I have that validation? And then you just wait, and you'd see. Because you can, as this one, the man that trained her at a school had so many great sayings that she just says them because they were so succinct. And he had said to her and to the class students, the only way to understand your spiritual nature is through direct experience. And that is a truth. And let us just give one more tidbit that this one's thinking of, because it's a really good one. Your original essence, your unique vibration of your soul, is actually not felt in your body. It's felt in your aura, up in the seventh chakra, and in these creative rings here. They're called the creative rings, and you come in as a soul, and you split into soul, higher, you split into the I consciousness, the body innate, and the Akashic innate, and you can learn to work with those aspects of soul. And so she's getting there again. Sorry. So anyway, so that is kind of what we're saying. Sorry about that. I think we got enough of that thought out to get it down. Did that go all the way through, that thought?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, she started in on another thought there. She's kind of excited about tonight, so we'll just give her a little grace with this understanding. Okay.
My other question is, I see a lot of unusual weather patterns. It is very dry here where I live, a lot of wildfires, and on the other side of the globe, there is an unusual amount of rain that causes a lot of flooding. I wonder if the climate is changing again.
There was a slight magnetic grid shift. We told this one there would be. And if you notice, there was more whale breachings starting to go on again. And it was not a huge one that was the type where they had to change lines on runways, but there was a shift. And there's also quite a bit of solar flares. You do know that affects weather. And we're going to tell you what we told this one a while ago that she started really looking at. In the noosphere, the consciousness on the human consciousness grid can actually create weather patterns. And you all have some people have figured this out, and that information is actually out there, which is why we can say it. And so we showed her an event in her area, weather-wise, that was caused by something, and she started to look at that and looked at the consciousness in the noosphere. And so humans can actually create bad weather, believe it or not, and they can also dissipate bad storms or send them in another direction and work with Mother Nature. And this one's played with that and found that it's very effective, if we may say it that way. So we're gonna leave that one at that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions there?
Yes, I do have a question.
Okay.
We know that the water on Earth holds a lot of memory. And for those of us who is fortunate enough to live near oceans or waterfalls, how can we create a simple daily ritual to connect with that memory bank through the water?
Okay. We know exactly what to say with you. This is a little unique for you, Alia, based on your particular channels of meditation and your unique soul and higher self experiences and energies. If your body of water near you, if you put a mock-up up in your third eye and you ground and align that water and pull your energy off of it and ask the diva of that water to commune with you. Have you tried that? Okay. And did you have an experience?
I had few, yes. Just I
Yes.
wanted to see what you have to, if you're using other kind of rituals.
Yes. So you have had your experiences. Yes. Now we're going to ask you to try it again, but try it in a different way. Ground and align the lake. Put the lake up to the Creator and the divine intelligence of the Creator. Pull your energy off of it back to yourself. You can just give it a hello vibration. I don't know what your training is. We're not going to go too deep into reading you. And that, ask the Creator, what would the Creator like in this exchange with you in the water, or you in the water, diva? And may that experience be in alignment with that divine intelligence. Have you done that?
No, I'm just trying to read what she has offered. because I know there are lots of memories there, and I can go and feel different ages and information, but I never did anything on purpose, just like, okay, give me something. And that was it. It's not a teaching. They're just kind of a flashes of information.
Yes, yes. So try it with the asking of the divine intelligence first. What would the divine intelligence have you know
Okay.
through this element and through this diva?
Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. Sorry, audience. We also have put it out for the Great Global Healing Parties going forward. If anyone has any kind of question, they're welcome to leave it in the description, in the comment section of the Great Global Healing Party if you watch this or you're at this live event, and put it in that comment section, and your question will be put forward into this event to be answered. And we will do that until the point where the questions become overwhelmingly too many. But we will try to do that to the best of our ability to get those questions answered. And we will have to select, of course, if we get starting to get large volumes. But so far, there's no questions because, as she says, this is a little far out. Okay, anybody with questions left? Okay, looks like we're on to the healing. All right, so there's going to be a 3-section healing because it's your higher self's body aura, your heart field, and your creational energy. Year 3 of the human consciousness grid healing is clearing the creational energy level of the old human consciousness from the Egyptian, fall of the Egyptian Renaissance up until now. That's actually what we're healing. As Rudolf Steiner said, time flips back on itself, and we are now over the same time frame as the Egyptian epoch, and we're healing that energy. And he's exactly right. And so you're healing that part because and what we're changing is the old Lemurian anatomy. So the healing is actually from the Egyptian part up till now because there really wasn't the same kind of karma on the grid prior to that. So we're having 3 sections of the healing, and we do a little pause in between for the energy people so they can feel the different energy anatomy. It's in sound. She has an explanation on the description of this event of what the different sounds mean. And then sections 4 and 5, so 1, 2, and 3 are healing. Then there'll be a little pause in between. Then we'll do a bigger pause, and we're going to do section 4 and 5, and those are going off the old Lemurian channels for the perception of these portals. And then we're going to come back and channel. Then we're going to go back up in the Pleiadian mothers and the camp and archangels and those that work the noosphere puzzle are going to clear and change off the old quantum entanglement portals for 3 things. They're taking off the old portal for sleep. If you're getting a new Christ into the death bardo and you're getting benevolent energy coming through into your dream space more often with this new upgraded dimension, you need a new sleep space. The exit portal, combo portal, or quantum entanglement portal of soul groups who go into the earth to do work is getting upgraded because that's got to go to a higher octave. And the soul group exit portal out of the earth is getting a higher octave. And people would be like, well, where are you sending us if you're changing the portal, exiting the earth? It's not like that. What it is it's a gateway that when it's appropriate will open you up to the enlightened planetary highway when it's time. So think of it that way. There's like an enlightened planetary highway people talk about between all the enlightened planets. This one has seen the wormhole and the shooting and the la 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 la. So that's what's happening with that portal. It's not that where you go when you leave the planet. That's a whole nother system. We're not going to talk about that. That has to do with universes and solar systems. Let's not even going into that level. So that's what's happening in section 6 and 7. And there's a new sound tonight. It sounds like kittens. It's like meow, meow, meow. And when that's happening, you know the portals are being cleaned and changed because that is the sound of the engine of the quantum entanglement portals up in the noosphere. And this sound has never been heard before in sound healing, even in your prior history, because you are entering a new great shift instead of doing your setups for the rest of your evolutionary future. Okay, as far out as that is. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to do our thing. She's getting ready in her body position, taking some water. And she will not be coming back to say goodbye, because this is the first time where she, if we may be so bold, is going up to the noosphere to the group woman's place that she would work there. She's now opening up to the group level. And that'll be all be in place by January 2027. And then you women can actually have your great global healing party, because that is still going to happen. And that's what we have to say about that. I know a lot of you signed up and you've been waiting, and we just want you to know it's coming. She just had to go through some stuff. She had a soul merge partner who passed away, but that had to happen in order for the women to heal the consciousness grid. And that's all we're going to say about that, because there's some people that is going to ring true with, and they are going to run with that energy. Okay, we just had to get that out. Okay, here we go. right, dearest beings of light, this is Alienia of Cosmic Service for the first channeling. And we did a little something extra tonight. Some of you women here had a corruption from the old Lemurian days, and it is in a filter. And let us explain. Rudolf Steiner talks about it. She's read it. She's seeing it now. This one's very excited. You have your sense perceptions that she mentioned, those senses, physical, spiritual, pineal communication, pineal creation. And you have above that a perception apparatus. So you take in from your world and your people around you and vibrations and light and all sorts of things. And it goes through and gets picked up by the perception apparatus, which then picks up the resonance in your interdimensional DNA in your central column, and it brings up what's going on and how you perceive that. And it's mixed in with your benevolence and your karmic akash and your unhealed things and your healed things and la, 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 la. And that, above that, is a type of engine that goes and gets what's called your Akashic records with your Akashic innate. And the Akashic innate is able to get your wisdom and bring it in and drop it in your pineal or pituitary, and it goes into cellular memory, and you can get your information from your Akash in a different kind of way than some people teach it. Some people teach it that you listen for it, but there's another way to do it within the system. And this one was taught that. So get out of the way. Sorry, brought up memory for her. So get out of the way. There you go. So the system of this Akashas and this innate and this, nope, we're not there yet. Sorry, people. She's going to a whole new place. She's just got to have a little patience with us. Okay, little energy coming in. People going, this is so weird. All right, so we were talking about the Akashas and the karma and the system and the benevolence and the light, and we are completely gone. Okay, let's just take a moment. We're going to have to go up and clear, if you don't mind, and we will come back. And this happens occasionally. Well, this is a great example of how you are all one. Some people found their way to the live stream that don't know anything about any of this kind of stuff. And they went into a rather negative state and started saying all sorts of terrible things. She actually is going to get a couple comments on this. And you can see what they did to the group energy. What you create and what you put out affects everything. Okay, so that maybe is a good way to segue into what we were going to say, which we now remember. Sorry about that. So there is a quantum entanglement. Oh, the membrane, yes. So you have and then you have your ability to go get your Akashic records. We were describing that system. In between perception and the ability to get your records was a corruption from what we explained prior on how you used to be, everything was outside of you when you were going horizontal, then in evolution in Lemurian times you went vertical and all that went within you. It's a corruption from that time. And it's not a bad thing. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't bring in a being. It's part of that system. But we have the ability to take that away. And for all the women at this event, we cleared that for you this day. And you're going to wake up tomorrow and go, oh, this is so much better. Because it was a corruption that said, I don't know what my next step is. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to do. And that's a good thing to get rid of. Okay, so we want to go on from there. What we would like to say about this event is it is a doorway to something really beautiful that you all are creating on your planet. And what we would like to say is that you have entered a time frame Even though you're not in your 1,000 years of peace, the promised, predicted, prophesized 1,000 years of peace, all the way from the Bible, and several other readers and channelers have all talked about this coming renaissance of golden era. Even though you are not in that, there are people on your planet who are already tapping into that, who are percolating in that golden energy, and some of them will bring in inventions. And that's going to happen in approximately a year. So you have some interesting things going on your grid already. You are starting to have an exchange of energy from the future of benevolence with your past that you're healing. And what did we just say about the birth bardo and the death bardo, with Christ coming into the death bardo? Creating a quantum entanglement engine beyond time and space. And we said your first chakra is starting to become a little quantum, meaning if you as a reader, let's explain this for the audience, if you as a reader want to read a timeline, I'm born, I had this experience, this is what happened, and you want to read that level of person, what you do is in your clairvoyance on your screen, you intend to see their first chakra. And then you can put up a line and pull your energy off, give it a hello, and they're usually there with a problem, and then you'll see the event and you can help them with it. And so that is now becoming more quantumly entangled. And this ability to bring in these golden akashas is now pulling on your grids and the golden akashas in a new kind of way, where you are starting to pull in a type of golden renaissance from the future. And this is a brand new event and something brand new. And this is part of how the new time capsule energy gets released. It comes through the golden akashas, which is where benevolent things would come. And it's in the interim Christ grid between your human consciousness grid and your Christ grid. We call it the soul creational grid, and we call the Christ grid the soul mastery grid. And so you have these akashas that are now starting to shift and change. As Lee Carroll had said, the cave of creation, where your individual crystal is, where you plug into the planet, is now up at the group level. And the paradigm is shifting, and there are already people, and this is the system. You always get the prototypes, the preview people, and they bring in the new energies and show the new potentials, and then eventually everyone has it, and that's sort of the design of the system. And you already have people who are having the experiences and bringing in that future golden renaissance energy of your period that is coming. And the golden renaissance that comes in the great shift is a long one. That's why they say 1,000 years. So we wanted to give that warm fuzzy for you all, and to know that you're all doing good work, even though you can't see it outwardly, laterally. But if you attune, well, you might feel it. Okay, so we're going to go up and do the part 4 and 5, and then we're going to go on and do we did part 4 and 5, sorry. We did part 4 and 5, and that's where we did that little upgrade for the women, took them off of that. Okay, we're going to do part 6 and 7. That's where you have the meow sounds. Then we're coming back for a final channel. Okay, here we go. dearest beings of light, that concludes the energy work for the Great Global Healing Party Lionsgate. As this one said, would you bring your awareness into present time? Maybe wiggle your body, feel your feet, get back into that body, secure yourself into that presence of that dense physical body. This one was in the background saying, well, you might want to explain to people why we didn't stop and do a meditation and intention before. It's because we do it during the whole event. We're constantly bringing up the concepts and ideas for the healing. We're bringing forward concepts and ideas of attunement and alignment. And we're bringing up concepts and ideas of that you have direct connection to the Creator. And you can do this much for yourself by the asking. It's by the asking and the intention. Okay, so let's get to this final channel. It's been a long evening, and the Great Global Healing Parties are going to run about this length of time now. We started out shorter, and she's used to this now, and here we are. What we would like to say at the end of this event is that there is a profound opportunity opening up in 2027. You have on your planet all the setups in place to be able to move through your karmic akash very quickly, beginning in 2027. You have the ability to ask the Creator to speed up the grid healing. And you also have the ability to ask the Creator to speed up the inventions. And you also have the ability to ask the Creator to speed up peace on earth, believe it or not. Because the quantum entanglement unique time of a great shift is like no other. You only have this in the beginning of a planetary system, the middle, and the end. And you're in the middle, and you have this now. And you have the ability to do certain things. As we tell this one, there's 15 things that you can ask higher creational beings about that are in the Akashic records that you can ask them during the Great Shift. So some of you that can mine the Akash might want to go in there and find that. There's also a section in the Akash about the things you can ask the Creator for. And we mentioned 3, and there's 7. So we're going to leave that for some of you to mine the Akash, because it's going to raise questions, and you're going to bring those questions to the Great Global Healing Party. So that's what we have to say about that. What we would also like to say is that how do you get those intentions going? Maybe we start doing those before each Great Global Healing Party. Maybe we start doing those after each Global Healing Party. For the first time, we brought this one in 5 days before, and we cleared the membrane for her in order to get ready for this work. And we're going to be doing it 5 days after. In your quantum entanglement expansion of what you did tonight, you have a window 5 days on either side of this Lion's Gate. And you can do some pretty profound energy work. Shamans, healers, and people that came to this event tonight. Or those of you who listen to this event within a 48-hour period will still get connected into the all of the special things that you had to be live for, just so you know. After a live event, you pretty much have a 48-hour window where you can still get in on the energy. And we're going to say it that way. So you have many, many things that you have coming forward in 2027. And we're sort of rambling a little bit. And we're just throwing out some ideas, and we're throwing out some potentials, and we're throwing out some ideas for the women. So we would like to say we're going to do another pop-up spontaneous workshop after this event, which we did after June. And we had done it maybe one other time. But these are going to come more often, and they're free. And they are going to be the week after on a Wednesday. And if you can make it, great. If not, you can sign up and get a recording. Get the link for the recording. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be clearing the 5 days after the Great Global Healing Party, as well as taking advantage of some opportunities that come up after certain Great Global Healing Parties. And so that's an offering that's at this event. So should you want to take part in a Zoom seminar, there's a link that will be posted in the comments section. I'm sorry, not comments, the description for this event at the very top. She did it in June. There'll be a link there to a landing page where you can sign up for the webinar. And it's a one-time webinar, and it's going to be approximately about maybe 2.5 hours, maybe, and it's free. And you're going to get some clearing and some juicy energy work and some information. And that's what we do. So that's what we wanted to say for the end. And we also want to say that begin to think of the idea of asking the Creator for the 3 things we mentioned: the peace, the inventions, and the fast-track healing of the grid. Because that's our job. So we're plugging ourselves and telling you what's a potential. All right, we're gonna sign off, not for the event, but we're gonna sign off for her because she's not coming back till after Tatiana signs off. And what she would be saying right now is, thank you, Supreme Being and the Divine Intelligence of the Creative Source, and thank you, higher creational beings of light who came for this work and this service for the greater good of all, aligned for the divine intelligence and grace for the greater good of all. In other words, we came with the intention for the greater good of all, and you all have the intention for the greater good of all. And that's a good agreement. And peace be with you all. You are dearly loved. Expect benevolence in all you do, and peace be with you.
Hello, I'm Tatiana, and I will be ending this great global healing party for Dr. Wendy tonight. Remember that you can add questions in the comments section for this recorded live stream on YouTube, and they will be answered at the fall equinox global healing party.